Grandpa's feeling a little frisky today. Let me say something to all you and be as clear and concise as possible. Fuck Bud Light and fuck Anheuser-Busch. Have a terrific day.
Did good, sir.
Welcome everyone to the Best Damn Podcast. I am your host, John King. As always, I'd like to thank you guys for joining me. Ask that you please add, follow, and check us out, www.thebestdampodcast.tv. Follow me Instagram, Facebook, Best Damn Podcast, Twitter, The Real Best Damn. And wherever you're watching from, make sure to hit the like, give us a thumbs up, leave a comment, let me know what you think, and share this link. Help me to get it out there. Oh, man. And if you'd like to donate, support to the channel, book your own personal tarot reading, or join us over on Patreon, or just check us out on another platform, all the links are in the description box down below. I just want to say, first and foremost, thank you everybody for joining me. I hope you guys catch this. I kind of did this a little bit, spur of the moment, so there ain't a whole lot of notice on today's live show. But man, right now it's an interesting time, I think, for everybody, especially here in the United States. We get a really unique vantage point as far as like global events and things that are taking place. We'll just kind of run the gambit here. We have, Bud Light's partnership with a trans influencer. This is, spurred all the memes. I don't know if you guys have seen this. This has been, I was wondering what was going on. I'm on Instagram scrolling the other day and I kept seeing different memes that had like guys drinking Bud Light with vaginas, right? So I was like, what the hell is this? And, and then the Kid Rock video comes out where he's literally taking a machine gun and shooting cases of Bud Light. So this is, sparked some concern, and we always know that, especially when it comes to the trans agenda, the media is going to be all over this shit, right? Everything these days is highly politicized, especially if it's something as divisive as, race, sex, age, your political orientation, your religion, anything like that they can use. This is part of the divide and conquer tactics. We've talked about this for years on this channel. The trans agenda is no different, right? This is something that I feel like they create these polar opposites and extreme, and it's always extremes that they show you. Right? They never show you the average or the norm when it comes to like a trans person, or when it comes to the other side as well, right? It's always some crazy fucking, Christian that's upset and outraged because somebody decided to cut their privates off. You know what I mean? But I don't think that's really close to what reality is. Yeah, there's nut jobs, there's wackos, there's people that are extreme on any side of any issue. We see it every day, but the closer we get to this kind of totalitarianism of a system, and it's becoming that. Some people say, no, we're very free here in the United States, and we still have some freedom left, I guess. But if we were free, there wouldn't be the ability to take the freedom, right? And the censorship is outrageous. I want to tell you guys, the last video I did, I posted it on a couple of my other channels. It got strikes, so I had to remove it from this channel. That way I could still be able to stream. This has happened probably the last 5 videos I've done. Well, now they've changed the guidelines to where it's not just talking about jabs and, and vaccines and all of this. Now they've changed it to harmful conspiracies. So basically that can mean anything that they want it to. Right? Anything that they wanted to, it can be deemed hate speech, harmful conspiracy, harmful content. They use it to demonetize people like myself. They use it to shadow ban people like myself. And that's why you see so many people migrating to other platforms. You can go follow me on Rumble and BitChute and all that as well. But this is what they're doing. It's like taking away the voices, right? Taking away the voices instead of, and what was always beautiful about free speech was we allowed people to speak on both sides of an issue, of a topic, and the cream would always kind of rise to the top, right? Like people that were telling the truth would, eventually it would prove out that they were being truthful, and the people that were dishonest had to face public scrutiny. Well, now the metric of honesty is actually given to us by the media, given to us by the government, right? They tell us what's honest and true, and they don't leave it for public opinion anymore. They want to control and sway the public opinion, the way that we perceive things, the way that we view things, the way that we see things. We're actually going to look at some articles today too, just about like the adjustment in the 432 hertz and all of that, like these slight and subtle shifts that have happened over time to kind of engineer us into a more docile, we could say, open to suggestion, receptive version of ourselves, right? And a lot of the trans agenda has nothing to do with protecting the rights of people that are gay and allowing them the freedom of expression, and that's sad. Really, it's sad because they deserve to express themselves however they want to express themselves. They don't deserve to do it to children or things like that, but like I said, that's a small handful, and that is something that's used as bait to get people all up in arms and angry and politicize that agenda. So they deserve to express themselves, they deserve to be who they are, but it's used that way they can capture a certain group of the population. They can attack male masculinity, they can attack female feminist, it's like femininity, and it's like we're in this place now, this really weird place where if we have a voice, and the voice that we have, if we choose to use it in a way that isn't the popular opinion, then we're discredited, right? We're discredited. We're homophobes or transphobes, or what I mean, you can go on, racist, right? We've watched this happen. Subject after subject, topic after topic, from George Floyd to what you see going on now, And it's a sad day, I think, to see a place like this that was so free, and that our founding fathers just had enough, foresight to see all of the things. And this is, a couple hundred years ago, these cats could see the whole system and what it could become if we lost that freedom of speech. That's why it was the First Amendment, right? The first right. Because once that is taken away, you can basically take away anything. Once you can tell a person what they can and can't say, you're essentially telling them what they can and can't think. You're essentially telling them who they can be, what they can be, So we're going to talk about that tonight. We're going to talk about, this Bud Light shit and Kid Rock and all of that. We're also going to talk about Trump. It's like, that's another thing. I've always been of the mindset that, he has controlled opposition. It's the hatred that's for him. It can be very genuine and real. People really do dislike the guy, but it's really about something bigger. It's about taking down certain ideologies that fall under the umbrella of Trump, right? Like, I don't like the guy myself. I'm not conservative or Republican or anything like that. But at the same time, I think everybody deserves to have a voice. Everybody deserves to be who they are, whether that's, a Christian, transgender, whatever, We all deserve to speak our opinions. And you know what? I feel like we are smart enough to not be misled by shit on Facebook and social media and YouTube, that we don't have to silence everyone, every dissenting voice. We can watch and view and listen ourselves and decide, what we gravitate towards. But instead, they create these echo chambers to reinforce these ideas that they want you to believe, they want you to see, they want you to, to regurgitate everywhere that you go, right? And that's what's socially acceptable, So, we live in an interesting time. I do want to say, too, before we get started, we're going to look at some astrology today. We have a black moon solar eclipse coming up in May. We just got out of the Libra full moon. Everybody right now, especially like astrologically, is facing relationship challenges and shit like that. So if that's you, if you're out there right now and you're struggling, the dollar is in trouble. China and Russia have officially teamed up. I mean, as if they weren't already teamed up. We're on the cusp of what appears to be, and it's warfare of a different kind. I know nuclear war is the key phrase that they use to kind of scare everybody, and get them gassed up when it comes to war. But it's far different than that. It's called scorched earth, right? Where they take out all of your supply lines, your fuel, your energy, and your food, your resources. It's right, they take every possible avenue or asset of a country so it implodes, it collapses in on itself. They never have to, drop a bomb. There never has to be a gunshot fired. And that's what we see happening to the United States at this very moment. And what's sad is most of it's taking place from the inside. Our very own crooked fucking politicians are the ones who have done this to us. They've been bought and paid for by, other countries, foreign entities, through these corporations, the people funding them. And they get in power and they use their corruption to change the laws, to restrict us, like this new TikTok law and shit they're trying to pass has nothing to do with TikTok. But you're told that TikTok is Chinese, right? Because this is a talking point. They want to get you scared of China, gas you up for that they're using it to spy on you and be invasive to you, right? So they can stop the, and it's this plague where everybody is, zoned in on TikTok, and it's like, but it has nothing to do with that law. It's really just it's really going to be used for something more to control, right? To be more invasive with taking your data, to be more invasive with the way that they can spy on you and tell you what you can and can't look at, and then use these terms to where if you're deemed a threat, right? And that can mean anything. If you're trying to, I believe one of the stipulations in the new TikTok law is like, if you are trying to undermine the political process, right? So it's basically if you just disagree with the fucking candidate, you don't like who's up there or who you have to vote for, they could use that. I mean, it's just insane. And we've seen this since the Patriot Act, and it's exponentially increased. And, keep in mind, Trump was, reauthorization of the Patriot Act in 2020, guys. And he even threw in some extra shit that made it a lot worse, to where they don't even have to tell you now that you've been spied on, that you've been targeted, that anything's happened to you, and that they can go after individuals, which then allow Biden to create these different committees to actually go after individuals, right? And people can say what they want, but we know that it's all politically motivated. We know that this is, in the name of protecting the homeland. This fight against domestic terrorism is really a fight against Americanism, right? Patriotism. And it's sad because if you believe in it's what it stands for. It's the values of liberty. Anybody that knows anything about true illumination, right, enlightenment, knows that there is a spirit of liberty in that, right? There is a spirit of rebellion in that, It's kicking back against the system of control and recognizing the royalty that is you, right? The kingship, the queenship that is you, right? You're a son or daughter of the Most High, right? You have a Holy Spirit living within you. Where you come from, what animates you, what gives life to you is not of this world. It's far above anything in this world. Hey guys, let me know if you can hear me and see me fine, okay? I would love to, you know, you just woke up 100 more people. I want to say thank you to the people joining too. Melopedia Britannica, Stool Purger, VZ Fat Cat 13, Illuminated Veritas. Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate you guys, seriously. Again, to El Peso Ali. Oh, hell yeah, looking good, brother. You too, brother. Love you, Johnny. Thank you so much, Illuminated Veritas, for the super chat. That's so kind of you guys. I mean, honestly, that's so kind. I really appreciate that. Up Your 73, James Newkirk. Thank you, man. Thank you, guys. I appreciate all of you. I'm trying to just look through the chat here. Sally Starchild. That's what's up. Yeah, very cool. And let me say this too before we jump into all of this. And I know I'm kind of. It's taking me a minute to get going here. But it's like, if you're going through something at this time, I want you to know, like, you're not the only one, Like, we all have problems. We all have issues. We all have troubles, And there isn't a day that goes by where somebody isn't losing their home, going through a divorce, right? Losing people they love, right? People dying, getting sick and having to battle that, struggling just to get by day to day. Like, everybody should really try to see the big picture here, and that it's I'm in Ohio, bro. Yeah, I'm in Ohio. I'm in Cincinnati. Everybody should try to see the big picture. That it's about, if you really want to come together, it's about just doing the simple things of looking out for each other, loving each other, being kind to each other, like not walking around with a chip on our shoulders or so full of ourselves and full of our egos that there's literally no room for no one else in our life because it's all about us, right? Selfish, self-centered, doesn't jive with goodness, with love, right? It's about being selfless, and we work on ourselves and, our emotional state, our spiritual state, our consciousness. We work on these things, guys, our intelligence, all of it, so we can be better versions of who we are, to serve those around us, to be a better husband, a better boyfriend, a better lover, a better father, right? A better employee, a better friend, a better neighbor, a better son. Whatever, you do in your life. Get the fuck out of Ohio and anything east. Hey, I would gladly leave Ohio if I didn't have children here. That's just the truth. That's what holds me here. You guys know I've traveled a bunch. I went all over the place. In the United States. I've been to Canada too, but I went all over the place last few years, and it's been amazing. I've loved visiting so many different cities and meeting so many of you. It's been awesome. One of the greatest gifts of my life, actually. But this is where I'm from. This is where my children are. This is my home. This is my home. So, hey, from Minnesota, it's nice to see you guys. Cosmic Blue, Tracy Roberts, Graceful Heart, CR User. You're a good dad. Well, thank you. I love my babies. Love my boys, man. Love my boys. I can tell you what, too. Like, no matter what I've been through in life, guys, and this is like, whatever girlfriend or, like, we go through, different partners, and we live in different locations, and we have different friends, and at different times, different seasons of our life. But my children, guys, have always accepted me for who I am, no matter what. You know what I mean? No matter when I'm a deadbeat nobody, or I'm on top of the world, they love me the same. They love me the same. They accept me the same. And it's like, I'm so grateful for that. Like, to have, that in my life. And if I could like give a gift to anybody, it would be the gift of family. You know, like people don't really understand how important family is until you don't have any family, until you don't have any friends, right? Like then you'll learn to appreciate it, baby. You know, but a lot of people, we take those in our life for granted. You know, the ones that we love for granted. And it's like, it's sad because we treat the people that love us the most the worst usually. You guys know that, right? Like most people take their bad day out on their wife, their mothers, or you know, their best friend or their brother or sister or whatever, right? They take their shit out on the people who love them the most. You know, that's who takes all the abuse. You know, you are lucky, John. I am lucky. I am lucky. I should have been dead a million times. A million times. I'm very lucky in that regard. I'm very blessed in the regard of I have three beautiful sons. You know, and I've gotten to do this adventure with you guys. Like that's been amazing too. Like I can't say, you know, now I'm working 2 jobs right now. Because they've changed all of the community guidelines and all of that to the point that I can't even make money online doing what I love to do anymore. And I barely have time to even do it now, you know? Barely have time to do it now. So it's like I'm grateful. I'm grateful for any time that I get on here and speak and talk, and you know, we're gonna, you know, we are gonna get into some stuff and, you know, do some deep dives and look at some things, you know, but I just wanted to drop some real shit before we did, you know. I just wanted to tell you guys you're loved, you're special, you know, and no matter what you got going on in your life, like, know that you're not the only one. You're not the only one who has struggles. You're not the only one who has problems, you know. John, well, we do not drink water from the tap, fam. So I'm just saying, BZ Cat says, John, if you love your kids, get them out of Ohio. The water is poison, bro. Hey, I don't doubt that at all. It's not just in Ohio. You guys remember Flint, Michigan and shit. Michigan has terrible water. Like the Midwest, probably all over, has terrible water, especially after the East Palestine shit. And all these train wrecks with toxic shit all over them. That's happening all over the place, for real. But you know, we don't drink the water out of the, you know, the shit's so heavily treated here, and you know, you gotta have a water softener in this area, or else you'll turn into a damn lizard from showering in this water. You know, you saw a homeless woman with a child outside. Well, there's homeless people all over Cincinnati, guys. I love the city of Cincinnati. I love it. I love it, love it, love it. Love living in the city. It's amazing. But, you know, it's like everywhere we go, you know, when I'm on my way to work or we're going out somewhere for food or, you know, just, you know, taking the kids somewhere, like, it doesn't matter. There's always people, you know, on the corners with signs that are homeless. And I mean, it's a reality, you know, like people are struggling. And I think the struggle is going to get a lot worse. We know with the astrology that it's like really set for some financial shit to go down, guys. Like, I'm not saying that to try to scare nobody or anything. I don't know. I'm not an expert. I want to preface this show with I am not a financial expert. I am not a medical expert. I am not the news. Okay? This is for entertainment purposes only. This is satire, right? Use discernment, spiritual discernment. Use your discernment watching this. Take it with a grain of salt. I'm just a guy on here sharing my opinions. Nothing more. You know? Nothing more. You know, when it's, tent cities in Tacoma, Washington. When I went to New Orleans, one of the things that kind of shocked me about New Orleans, as soon as I got off the plane, right, into the airport in New Orleans, there was like tents underneath the underpasses and bridges and shit. It was wild. You know, it was very wild. That was a place with a lot of homeless people as well. You know, Cincinnati is it's a wonderful area though. You know, it is. It's a wonderful area, but it's just you know, really expensive to live here. Right now, I'm actually, you know, trying to save up $3,000 so I can get me a car and move into you know, a place I'm trying to get. So, you know, we're all out here struggling. We're all out here hustling right now, just trying to make ends meet. You know, inflation is a real deal thing. You see how Russia and China are kind of going at the oil now. Saudi Arabia is starting to flip. When it comes to the oil, the writing's on the wall. It's called the petrodollar. I told you guys this. The whole agenda for Build Back Better, the electrification agenda. You're seeing this. It's gonna sink the dollar. The dollar's gonna tank. You know, the dollar's gonna tank. And I think it was the country of Jordan, is what I want to say. Don't quote me on this, but I think it was Jordan. They were like talking to, it was a politician that was like talking to a room full of people, like, you know, like a meeting. And he was letting them know, like, to basically pull all their money out of the dollar. You know, it's like saying if you're still holding within a year, you're going to be in a bad way. You know, you're going to be in a bad way. And it's like, we can put as much into that as we want. There's always been scares about the system and collapse and all of that, so I don't try to feed into the fear, or I don't try to buy into any of that, you know. But at the same time, we should always understand that it is key to be prepared. That's just being a smart human being, you know, living prepared for whatever, you know, may come. And I promise you this too, I know a lot of people don't take it seriously, but if you take like your spirituality serious, you know, help out other people, because that's sowing seeds in a different way. Just like you would save money and you put it in a savings account or whatever for a rainy day, you know, emergency fund, and or you know, just like you would do that, you know, you can do that with karma too. You know, you can store up good karma by just being a good person and helping people that need help. You know, there's a lot of people in the world that need help. If you're wealthy or you have more than enough, which if you're American, you're in the top 1% of the world. You know, so right there, you're doing better than 99% of everyone else, just by being in this country. You know, so if you're American, you're top 1%. So you really have no excuse, you know, not to be a good person and not to try and help other people. You know, and that doesn't account, there are homeless people, and like I said, people struggling with addictions. You know, I've been a person that struggled, you know, with addiction, so I know all about it. I know all about it. I know when you're down, it's hard to get up from some shit. You know, it is. It's hard to get up from some shit, but we have to find a reason to keep going. We have to find a reason to keep pushing, man. Like, if you won't do it for you, then do it for others. You know? You held through the Holocaust of crypto. Well, crypto's in a fucked up way too right now. You know, crypto's in a fucked up way. Like, I wouldn't trust in the cryptocurrency either. You know, and that's just my opinion. I wouldn't trust in that either. You know? But if I wanted to give anybody a message, you know, today it would be, and I know right now, because of the astrology, like a lot of, and we're going to actually, let's look at that first. We'll look at that in a minute. Because of the astrology, the full moon in Libra, you know, it's creating an opportunity. Full moons it's a time when things are illuminated, so we can really be projecting, you know, ourselves onto other people. So be very careful about that at this time. Don't project your insecurity. Don't project your bruised ego. Don't project your hurt, your trauma, especially relational trauma, right, onto other people. But things are becoming very clear for us as well. We get a time for, this illumination shows us exactly what we need to see from people in our lives. And it gives us an opportunity to really realign, right? To create balance, restore balance, those Libra scales, right? It's all about balance, and Libra is about love and, and it's but not being a pushover. Right now would be the time to kind of speak your truth too. It's a lot of people are gonna, especially the spiritually immature people who aren't as really evolved emotionally and spiritually or consciously, right? That really aren't on the level. You're gonna see this manifest in some fucked up, ugly ways, guys. It could come out in lies, deception, right? Abuse. The sad thing is there's probably, and I feel like this happens to people that are empaths. And I know a lot of you guys that watch this channel, you're empaths, right? You get pinned down by narcissists, right? People where it's almost like we attract them into our lives, right? It's people can find themselves in situations where they're, being emotionally, mentally abused, so good people, that happens to them. They get taken advantage of. They want to, they want to heal others, they want to love others. And sometimes, to love somebody, you have to, you really have to just take a step back. You're an empath. Lowers your IQ and shortens your attention span. They feed off of your good. Well, of course they do, and that's the thing. Some people, and like I said, with this energy, things becoming illuminated, it's about taking care of yourself now, right? This is the energy of let's take care of ourselves. We have Mars that's just moving into Cancer, Pluto and Aquarius. It's the more that we try to cling to a situation, the further away we will be pushed. The more we try to cling to people in our lives at this time, the further away we will be pushed. Right? The more we try to hold on to something, the more it will slip through our fingers. And I know that fucking sucks because that's your natural reaction when you're losing someone, when you're losing something, right? When a situation is spiraling out of control, or a relationship is spiraling out of control, your first thought is to grip on tighter, is to try harder, is to do more, is to do more. And sometimes, when we overgive to a situation, we overgive to a person, they will just absolutely drain you, and that it creates this imbalance to where it's never enough. No matter what you do, it's never enough, right? No matter what we do, will never be enough. So that's when it's time to be and if you're the master alchemist or the master of self, like I know you are, that's when you have to change the way that the pendulum is swinging energetically, right? Pull back the energy. Instead of having that situation where you're overgiving energy to the point it creates them a repulsion, right? They start repelling from you, and or feeding off of you, however it goes. When you pull back, you give the opportunity for them now to want to come in closer to you, to need that energy again, to need that warmth again, to need that love again, You're going back under the rock you came from. I am too. I'm going back under the rock I came from. I am too. And there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that, guys. And like I said, I feel like one of the healthiest fucking things that we can do, first off, we should be focusing on our health. Numero uno. Without health, health is that's your number one blessing in life. If you don't take care of the vessel, everything just gets out of alignment, you know. So it's about how you eat and how you treat your body first and foremost, right? Getting sleep, eating right, all of that. And then, you know, I say the next is the mental, you know, making sure you're keeping your thoughts in check. You know, not thinking negative thoughts, not playing into scenarios that you have no control over whatsoever, you know. And then it's the emotions, managing our emotions, making sure that we're creating our own happiness within, and we're not letting our happiness depend on other people, external things. And I know that's easier said than done. Trust me, you know, I know what loneliness feels like. I know what, you know, the wanting of, like, the warmth from another person, you know, like, what that feels like. I know what that feels like. And it's like, it's a strong, powerful desire. You know, it's a strong, powerful desire. And we have that desire for a reason, too. You know, it's there, and we honor it. We acknowledge it, right? But at the same time, we can't allow our desires to control us or to compromise us, right? That need for closeness or need for connection to get us to devalue ourselves and allow ourselves to be abused, taken advantage of, treated poorly. You know what I mean? Like, if it's true love, a true connection, the person will not, number one, they will respect you, right? They will respect you and they will treat you like that. You know, when they fuck up or they do wrong, they will apologize. You know, when you withdraw, they're going to come to you. They're not just going to let you go. You know, if they do let you go, then that you know that that was not for you. You know, it's not for you. You're only doing inner work. I appreciate you too. Thank you, Justin. I appreciate all of you. Seriously. Meditation is your music? Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with the chat, man. Sometimes it's just really weird here on YouTube. I hate even streaming on YouTube anymore, just to be honest. I don't even get a very, you know, everybody hit the thumbs up if you're in the chat. It helps for other people to see it. But, you know, it's like these platforms have gotten out of control. I got the strike the last video, and I'm like, all right, you know, I'm done. You know, I'm done. And it's not, you know, it's not about the money. Trust me, I don't make a penny from this. You know, it's like, not anymore. You know, this is just, I do videos now just because I have a passion for it. I love it. And like, I missed you guys. I missed connecting with all of you. And I missed the sense of community. You know, I do. You know, so you guys are always welcome to reach out, you know, text me, email me, you know, contact me. If you're in my area, you know, we'll, you know, get a drink or get lunch, whatever, you know, like, but it really is about kind of taking care of each other right now. Show or no show? Yeah, I know. So here we go. Bud Light partnership with trans influencer Dylan Mulvaney prompts a right-wing backlash. The beer brand teamed up with Days of Girlhood TikTok star Dylan Mulvaney during the NCAA's March Madness college basketball tournament. And this is fucking crazy. Crazy. I don't even, I feel like if I comment on this, that there's no right thing to say about this. First off, it's the Days of Girlhood TikTok star, Dylan Mulvaney, right? Like, this has been a new thing that I don't know why this is happening, but it is. These TikTokers that are trending, and it's like they're trying to teach, I don't know if they're trying to teach other transgender or women how to be women. I don't understand, you know, but it's like, this is where you guys seen like the pizza sauce that was like they were frozen and like they were doing the periods and shit. We did a video on it where they were saying they got their period, you know, and they were taking these frozen pizza sauce packets and sticking them up their rear. And they were literally like commenting and telling women, like real genuine women, like real females, that they didn't know what it was like, or trying to school them on what it's like to be a female, what it's like to be a woman. I even seen the other day, and I'm not gonna show it on here because I know they'll hammer my ass for it. But they had this thing where it was transgender men, right, that actually went to a school, like, and you guys have seen a lot of this, where they do like the book reading, and then it got to weird levels of strip teases at schools, which I have no idea. If you're one of those schools, you are fucked up. Like, and if you're one of the parents at that school, you are way fucked up. Like, why would you encourage that or allow that in your school? I have no idea what's wrong with people. And I feel like it's a shame, and this is what I mean, because they make people believe that all transgenders are like that. Right? That's so unfair. To all the people that are transgender, and they're like they're born that way. They feel like they're trapped in the wrong body or the wrong sex, and it's like they're not weirdos walking around, flaunting it and in children and doing weird shit to kids or any of that. And it's like they make that look like it's the majority, because that's the shit that gets attention, right? Well, this one I seen was laser pointers up their ass. So they're all doing this strip tease and shit in class, half naked men, right, with lasers up their ass. And it's like, wow, please explain to me how this is educational. Please explain to me how this is expanding the horizon of a child. Please explain to me how this is helping the LGBTQ community whatsoever. Please explain to me. Please explain to me how this isn't just a sick ass weirdo, that's using the transgender cause as an excuse to go out there and to be a predator, towards children. Because that's what I think is happening. I feel like these sexual predators are using the LGBTQ community, right, for their own bullshit. And it's giving it a bad name. It's like all the Christians and people on the right are up in arms, and they're outraged and they're upset, and they have every right to be, because a lot of the shit that's happening it's outrageous, right? It's upsetting. But it's a small portion of the people, Sodom and Gomorrah 2.0. Yeah, I mean, if we want to go biblical on it, yeah. Sodom and Gomorrah for sure. Babylon. We are the whore of Babylon. That's what the United States is. The whore of Babylon. Babylon would probably be Israel too. Just to be all the way fucking real. I know we're not allowed to say anything about that. You see what I mean? You see how they've created these different kind of they'll pigeonhole you in a million different ways, right? If you're not pro-Israeli, then you're anti-Semitic. If you're not, pro, trans going to schools, then you hate trans people. You know what I mean? It's like they've created this. And this is how you socially engineer a population. Here, let's take a look here, see if I got this still pulled up here. I hope this is just a bad April Fool's joke. Trans Day of Vengeance. We need more than visibility. Trans Day of Vengeance. Stop trans genocide. Trans Day of Vengeance. April 1st at 11 a.m. Assemble at Scouts. Wear a mask. Bring a buddy. Say what? And the cover-up continues. What? Alright, let's see. Let's pull this up. I don't know. Trans Day of Vengeance will go ahead at Supreme Court despite Nashville school trans shooter Audrey Hale killing 6. Trans radical activists to hold demonstration outside the Supreme Court. And this is another thing. This trans shooter in Nashville, right? This is, and I feel like this is the first ever female school shooter. If you guys didn't know that, right? The first ever female school shooter. But here's the thing, and I know I'm dead naming and all of that by saying it, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but the truth is that this shooter was born a female and she transitioned to a male, so she was taking testosterone, right? So there's something connected to the testosterone and the violence and all of that, you know. Very crazy. An activist group is due to hold a Trans Day of Vengeance demonstration outside the Supreme Court on Saturday, warning against astronomical amounts of hate from the world and following the horrifying Nashville shooting, which left 7 dead on Monday. The Trans Radical Activist Network, TRAN, will host the event in Washington, D.C. from the 31st of March until the 2nd of April, starting Friday and marching the Supreme Court at 11 a.m. on Saturday. Their website, gender-affirming caravan bills and the political climate as motives for the demonstration. But commentators are up in arms over the decision to go ahead with the protest, as police say they're investigating the role of the Nashville shooter, Audrey Hale, gender identity, and a sense of resentment that may have inspired the attack on the shooter's Christian former school. Republican firebrand Marjorie Taylor Greene yesterday demanded her Twitter account be restored after features were limited for violating rules, and her account was suspended 7 days for exposing Antifa, who are organizing a call for violence called Trans Day of Vengeance, the day after the mass murder of children by a trans shooter. Restore my account immediately. Good luck with that. I don't know. I know that this is very strange. You know, I can't get into all of the school shooting stuff here on YouTube. It's just not allowed anymore, right? It's not allowed anymore, and this is what I mean. We're to the point. Censorship's at such an insane level now that we can't speak on any of these things. We can't speak on any of it. Not just COVID. It's everywhere. We're a lot more than shoes too. Yeah, it's very crazy. Their logo is automatic weapons. Well, you know, proven faked. Yeah, well, I hate to tell you, we know that a lot of these are ops, guys, right? Like, these shootings are ops, you know, and there is a political agenda or political motivation, you know, for a lot of this. I mean, you know what it is, right? Gun control, all of this, you know, they want to take our guns, right? You know, Second Amendment. You know, the first is gone. They're just working their way down the list of amendments, you know. No free speech, no guns. And like I said, the Founding Fathers, they could see how a tyrannical government could get in control and what they could do, you know. Once you're not able to defend yourself. So, this is definitely a case of social engineering. I have never seen so much shit. I swear to God, when it comes to the trans agenda, I'm blown away, guys. I'm fucking blown away. I can't believe we've got this to this point this fast. You know, it was just like a year or so ago that they really started pushing this. They went right from, and if you notice, it went first it was the pussy hats and all of that, right, guys? That's where it all kind of kicked off during the Trump regime, and, you know, Obama to Trump and Biden and all of it, right? We seen the pussy hats and feminism and all of that, right? And then it kind of switched to the racism, tearing down the statues and George Floyd and, right, to the trans. And now that we have the trans agenda, it's went crazy, right? It's like, and now it's going to kids next, you know, sexualizing children. It's a real sad day in our country. It's a real sad day. Moving forward. But hopefully we don't Meanwhile, in Kiev, the awkward moment when the news tells you and the world your city is being bombed, then you look out the window. Let that sink in.
Last night air sirens were going off, then waking up to this news with view of Q.
Oh shit. How about that? You know, could we possibly be being lied to? You know? The awkward moment when the news tells you and the world your city's being bombed, then you look out the window.
Last night air sirens were going off, then waking up to this news with view of Q.
Yeah, that's fucking nuts, man. It's despicable is what it is. You know, it's despicable. In another attack on food and water supplies, 10 barges, including one carrying toxic methanol, break free from a tugboat on the Ohio River. How about that? Oh, man. And it's like, this is what I mean about the whole scorched earth shit, right? A major incident had taken place on the Ohio River near Louisville, Kentucky, requiring multiple emergency response teams. And its 10 barges have detached from their tugboat and are stranded at a dam, with one carrying over 1,400 tons of methanol, highly toxic substance, and reportedly sinking. It is uncertain if there's been any leakage, but if so, the substance will quickly dilute. Although some fish mortality may occur, the other barges were carrying soybean oil and corn. You know, they're carrying food products.
Runaway barges, as in plural, slamming into a dam on the Ohio River. This is all happening at a dam near Louisville, Kentucky. Emergency officials say 3 barges got loose, hitting the structure. You could see one of the barges partially underwater. Louisville Emergency Management saying one barge is carrying 1,400 tons of methanol. It's a naturally occurring chemical, but it is incredibly toxic if consumed. Louisville's water department saying that the wreck is downriver from the city's water intake. Hazmat crews are monitoring the situation.
Crazy, man. Crazy, man. 3 barges, one of them transporting 1,400 tons of methanol, were pinned against a dam on the Ohio River in Louisville, Kentucky on Tuesday. And it's like Ohio's getting slammed, y'all. For real. I don't know what it is, why. You know, it's like most of the coastal cities, I feel like with, you know, sea level and all that shit rising, you know, it's a lot easier to take them out. So this appears to be the way they're going about it with Ohio. It's all the train fucking derailments. Now it's the barges on the river, you know. The Hunger Games. Yeah, this is the fucking Hunger Games. How did it happen? I don't know. It's very crazy, isn't it? Like, how they all were just lined up perfectly, you know, at that bridge, like creating their own natural dam. And they hit a dam, too. It's wild, you know. It's wild. Hey, Tim. Nice to see you. I agree. It says that Christ is within us. I'm not expecting a physical Jesus to return. You know, I feel like, you know, it's a really touchy subject. My thoughts and my beliefs on spirituality have changed so much over the years, so much. I've seen too much, I guess. Been through too much. You know, it's hard to believe in a Christian God, you know, anymore. After, you know, when we see this world and the shape that it's in, and we see our society, our culture, in the shape that it's in. And you kind of look, and you can surmise what the future will look like. You know, it doesn't look bright. It doesn't look positive. You know, not for my children and my children's children. It just doesn't. You know, we don't have a whole lot to look forward to as far as things getting better, unless we take matters into our own hands and make them better for ourselves. That's all we can do, guys. Like, honestly, that's all we can do. Yeah, having faith in something higher, something good, God, Christ, that's beautiful and it's amazing, but understanding that power resides in you. You know, that power resides in you, and that true faith is works, right? It's putting it into action. You know, like so many people do all this, right? All that talking about how, you know, how much they love everyone and love God, but they're not willing to do anything action wise. You know, they're not willing to actually make changes. They're not willing to actually jump into other people's lives and try to make them better. You know, it's like, what was it? Christ was saying, like, you know, even the Nicolaitans, even the pagans love those who love them, right? So you ain't doing nothing special by treating people good that treat you good. You know, you're not proving that you're godly by doing that shit. You know, everybody can be nice to people that are nice to them. We can all love our family. But love when it's hard to love. That's the real mark of character. You know, like true character. True character. Love somebody that doesn't want to be loved, or that doesn't love themselves. Try doing that. And then you're going to talk about God and, you know, all of this. You know, take from yourself and give to others. You know, whether it's your hard-earned money, your time, your effort, your energy, your heart, invest in another person's life. And you know what's crazy? Don't expect anything in return. Because you're probably not going to get anything from most people anyways. Just to be honest. Just to be honest. Most people aren't going to give back even though you put in. You're going to have to receive it in a different way. You know? It's going to be like the satisfaction of knowing, you know, that you loved, that you helped. Even if you give somebody money and the person don't even say thank you. You know that you did the right thing. You know that you made someone's life better. You helped someone who needed help. And I mean, relationships are a great teacher as well. You know, they're a great teacher for life. Each one is like a lesson on the journey towards what I believe, and I'm one of those romantics. So, I believe that we're always growing and evolving, and that it's a journey to, the person that we're meant to be with. Our true love. So each shitty experience, shitty encounter that you have, don't look at it like that if you can, Look at it as a lesson. See the journey. See the whole journey. Don't be so focused in on the little piece of the path that you're on right now. See the long journey, the long game. Play the long game. We always have this really narrow band of focus, and we can't see the forest for the trees. And I feel like if we take a step back and really consider perspective, we could really make strides in a positive direction just by changing our fucking perspective, man. By seeing the people that hurt you, the people that don't appreciate you, the people that betray you, the people that turn their back on you, the people that abuse you and do you wrong, right? You gain something from that. That it's all part of building you up to be the person you were truly meant to be. The man you were meant to be, the woman you were meant to be. Not every person is in your life forever. Not every situation is going to last forever. God, I know that better than anybody. You know? I've been to 1 million cities, 1 million places. You know? And not every time, you know, it's hard sometimes to move on, to move forward, to let go, to grow. It's hard as fuck. Especially when we have to let people go that we love and care about. Especially when we have to let comfort go. Right? I see it break people all the time. And I can tell you the number one killer. This is going to push people away from you more than anything else in your life. And that is if you are really seriously trying to grow, trying to become something, trying to be someone, trying to be great. If you're trying to evolve consciously, spiritually, emotionally, intellectually, if you are trying to grow, be in the presence of someone who's not trying to grow and watch them flee. You will disrupt their lives in ways that you can't imagine, guys. And that's everywhere you go. People will not like you if they're not on the same path as you. You feel me? People love to say it too. Everybody's got this goddamn sales pitch, especially in like the dating world and all of that, and like jobs and friendships, and everybody's got that great sales pitch of like they love to grow and they, you know, they're trying to do this and do that. But watch out, because it's probably just a sales pitch. They've said that lie so much that they actually believe it. Real strength comes from within. It has nothing to do with your bank account. Nothing to do with your looks. Nothing to do with your popularity. Real strength comes from within. Comes from our heart. That's where real character comes from as well. You know, it's like, what kind of person are you when nobody's looking? That's where we, you know, where we step into real character. What kind of person are you when no one's around? When there's no one to show off in front of. Right? How do you treat your wife, your husband, your children? How do you treat your friends, your family? How do you treat your significant other? You know? How do you treat yourself? What's the inner dialogue that you have in your mind? I don't know which is worse. There's some people beat the brakes off of themselves. I'm bad for it, man. We have negative self-talk and we reinforce these negative beliefs about ourselves, you know, and we make ourselves believe that we need other people in order to make it, and that we need this and we need that in order to be complete and to be whole. We tell ourselves these fake fucking narratives to convince ourselves that we're not good enough as is, right? And then you have the other version where people think they can do no wrong and that there's something wrong with everyone else but them. I don't know which one's worse, right? The one who beats up on themselves all the time or beats up on others? You know? I think humility, there's nothing more attractive in this world than humility to me. You know it? Someone that is humble, wow. That's a true sign of maturity, I think. To be humble. And I'm not always humble. You know. to say I don't have all the answers. I don't know everything. I'm not perfect. You know? To be able to accept another for their flaws, their imperfections. Yeah, wise men listen to people smarter than them. They do. That can be anybody, though. That can be anybody, though. Wise men listen to all people. They're good listeners. You ever notice, like, the smartest people in the world are the greatest listeners? You know what I mean? Like, the smartest people in the world always know that there are people that are smarter than them. And it's not like overall IQ. It's like, if you want to learn about fucking a particular craft, you learn from the craftsman, the person that's doing that. You know? You want to learn about Buddhism, you would go to a Buddhist monk, right? You would shut your mouth when the monk spoke because you would want that knowledge. You want to learn about real estate, go to the best real estate agent. You shut your mouth so you can get that knowledge, whatever it is you're seeking in life. You know? And I find that if we do listen to other people, not only do we have we create an ability to tune into those people. You know, a deeper connection where we tune into another person and we can empathize with them more by hearing what they think, hearing how they feel. But see, that takes being selfless, right? If you don't care how another person feels, if you don't care what another person's going through, if you don't care about anything but yourself and serving yourself, right, then you're probably not going to listen to another person. You know? Like, my hope for people would be too, with this Libra full moon, and you know, we have a black moon coming up in May, guys, solar eclipse. I'm telling you, the astrology right now is insane. It is insane. This is the time for growth. Right? We had the Sun conjunct Chiron and Aries at the same time that the full moon was in Libra. Aries is about initiating. It's new beginnings. It's new starts. This is a new season. Spring is here. Fertility is here. Life is here. If you want it. If you're willing to humble yourself. To allow it in. True self-mastery, I feel like, is not always just about you, right? A true master knows how to engage with others. You know, they understand that we're all one, and they're connected to the moving parts that is them. Let yourself be heard. Yeah, I like that. I love that. Actually, I love that. It's hard to let yourself be heard because you have to be vulnerable to be heard. Right? Thank you, Charlie Brown, for the super chat. You have to be vulnerable. Like, for real. I can't tell you how many times where I have had an ego that wouldn't allow me to be vulnerable. You know? Like, times I should have spoke up for myself and didn't. Woohoo, Charlie Brown. Yeah, that's the greatest name ever. And it's literally a picture of Charlie Brown. How about that? That's definitely the real Charlie Brown is in the chat, guys. Just saying. Charlie Brown watches Best Damn Podcast. But that's like the art of love too, right? Being vulnerable. You notice the worst lovers in the world are the people who they don't have the ability to be vulnerable. Their egos won't allow it. You know? Their egos won't allow it. And it's not that this, it makes you a bad person if that's you, right? We've all been there at times we all can be that person. We're always changing, growing, hopefully. But something in life, there's some insecurity that prevents people from dropping their guard, that prevents people from, taking it all off and just showing, their partner or their friends or whoever who they truly are. It's like that's what it means to strip yourself down. It's got nothing to do with like nudity. You want to be really naked? Strip yourself down emotionally and show somebody your heart. Be vulnerable. And I can tell you what, the people that you are vulnerable with and the people that you give your heart to, do not be discouraged if they take it and they harm it or they try to destroy it. That's not a reflection of you. It's a reflection of them. It's a reflection of them. And maybe you need to take that pain to help teach, these people lessons that do harm you and hurt you. That everybody's not out to get you. And maybe one day they'll get it, after you're done, you're done gone, you've done passed, you've done moved on. We can't force people to learn the lesson with us. It's so hard. It's so hard. Like, it's hard enough being into, the truther stuff, the conspiracy stuff, the spiritual stuff. Like, people think you're weird as is. But to truly, like, be, and there's the fake wokeness right now all over the fucking place. Right? Which is the furthest thing in the world from actually being woke. But yet, we still think that, I don't know why people buy into this. Like the trans agenda and all that. It's fake wokeness, right? There's nothing woke about that. You're being fucking programmed. You're being told what to think, what to feel, what to believe. You're living in fear. Total fear of your government. Or a religion. Or your peers. How many people walk around today in fear of judgment of others? Right? How many? So much so that they'll do things that they don't really want to do or be a person that they're really not. Just to maintain, just to fit in, just to belong. We're creating monsters is what we're doing. We're creating monsters. We have a society full of monsters. People are so hideous anymore on the inside. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's discouraging. And it makes you want to say, fuck it, fuck it. I'm gonna be hideous too. I'm going to be mean too. I'm going to be angry too. I'm going to be a liar too. I'm going to be hurtful too. I'm going to be judgmental too. Eye for an eye, right? It's like, but once you really understand, really understand, it's impossible to continuously do it back because you understand you're only hurting yourself. You're only hurting yourself. Those who choose to sit and live and dwell in misery, that's no way to live, man. Do you think your health is good doing that? You know what happens when your stress system kicks in? Fight or flight? It turns off your immune response within your body. Stress is the number one killer, and that's why. Because once the stress gets going in your body, your immune system shuts down. Your body thinks that it's in fight or flight. That it's back in the fucking jungle with a tiger chasing your ass. Right? When all it is like you're being yelled at by your wife or your husband or something, right? Or you're walking around pissed off over your job or whatever, right? You're literally killing yourself with the shit. When we walk around with a negative mindset, right, what we're telling the universe is that we want negativity in our lives. Correct? We're telling the universe we want negativity in our lives. We're asking for negativity because we're walking around with a negative mindset. Like attracts like. Like attracts like. Right vibe, right tribe, right? So if my vibe is to be negative, my vibe is to be angry, what do you think I'm calling into my world? To my space? I'm calling in negativity. I'm calling in anger. I'm calling in sadness. Trust me, everybody's a fucking victim now in our society. Everyone. I can do it. I'm terrible at it. One of the worst people. You know? One of the worst people. I get in these states of mind where it's just like I feel like the whole fucking world is against me. You know, it's like your job, your girl, your whatever, right? Your family, your friends, everyone's against you. What ends up happening for me is that I create that reality when I get in that mindset. I create that fucking reality. Poor me. I'm being beat up on again by this or that person, this or that situation, and guess what happens? I'm telling the universe that that's what I want. So that's what I get. The universe doesn't care. It doesn't judge. It's just energy. It's alchemy. It's going to energetically give you what you're asking for. So if you're setting yourself up to receive negativity, to receive criticism, to receive anger, to be an outsider, if you're excluding yourself from the world, you're building walls between you and other people emotionally, consciously, right? You're building your own prison. You're building your own hell. And you're living in it day by day. And the only other people that come inside are the people that vibe with it, match with it, resonate with it on an energetic level. And they make it worse. Right? They magnify it. They amplify the signal. It's like the fucking bat signal being shot up in the sky. Hey, I'm miserable. Everybody come. All the miserable people too. But see, this is what's the greatest part about all of it, really, is that we are the masters of our reality. We are the masters of our destiny. You even look at the Bible. Biblically, it says, God gives all things to you. I give you dominion over all things. Greater is he that is in me than he that is in the world. He that is in you is you. That's your spirit. Brings us back full circle to the whole start of this, right? Spirit gives life to all this. It animates all this. It is life. It is energy. It is light. That's your essence. That's what's driving this train, driving this car. You can choose to be a victim and chase energy everywhere you go. Constantly living life from a perspective that you don't want to be in, a position you don't want to be in, or you can choose to be in the driver's seat. You know. You can choose to set your mind state. You can choose to change. You can choose to be different. You can choose the life that you truly want. But you got to choose it. And no choice is a choice. No choice is definitely a choice. How about this? It gets better and better, guys. Just the wild shit. Our consciousness has been manipulated subconsciously to change our perception of reality. 432 hertz to 440 hertz. Did you know that in 1953, a worldwide agreement was made based on an idea by the Rockefeller Foundation to change the frequency of music? They changed it from its natural harmonic resonance, 432 hertz, to the current consciousness suppressing 440 hertz. How about that? And each frequency has a pattern. You see the symmetry of the 432, right? And then you see 440, right? It's all distorted and shit. Doesn't look nearly as beautiful. Congress preparing a bipartisan Patriot Act sequel to completely destroy the internet as we know it. Highlights include allowing the feds to access any of your software or hardware at any time, with or without judicial oversight, arbitrary designation of foreign parties as enemies, and anyone who communicated with them subject to up to a $1 million fine. Anything subject to this bill is exempt from the Freedom of Information Act, etc. This is a nightmare, but we know the non-player characters are going to go along with it. How about that? African American politician exposes U.S. as a brutal, racist, imperialist, and arrogant.
The killers of Patrice Lumumba, those who toppled Kwame Nkrumah, those who killed Nasser, those who killed Muammar Gaddafi, today are coming to teach us about democracy.
Welcome to Candid Africa, truthful and unapologetic.
Wow. Here's the full text. This is the Restrict Act right here, guys. We're going to drop this in the chat for anybody that wants to go check it out. Congress.gov. This is free for everyone to look at. Make sure if you're in the chat, you hit that thumbs up, hit that like for me, guys. It helps to keep people in here. I don't even know how many we have in the chat. There we go. But this is it. To authorize the Secretary of Commerce to review and prohibit certain transactions between the persons in the United States and foreign adversaries and for purposes. To authorize prohibit transactions between persons, U.S. and foreign adversaries, and for other purposes. Classified national security information. Relating to classified national security, controlling holding, means holding the power, whether direct or indirect. Covered holding. Foreign adversary, entity subject to jurisdiction of or organized under the laws of foreign adversary. This is fucking crazy. They can basically designate you a foreign adversary just by using something from a foreign entity, right? Something that's comes from an app from China. It's just fucking wild. We're to a crazy, crazy point in this country. Like, I can't even believe it, honestly. PFAs in the toilet paper and the crotch area of yoga pants. Say what? This is fucking weird. PFAs, toxic forever chemicals found in toilet paper around the world. Research finds waste flushed down toilets and sent to sewage plants probably responsible for significant source of water pollution. Investigation finds evidence of PFAs in workout and yoga pants. Testing finds fluorine and indicators of PFAs in women's sportswear from popular brands like Old Navy and Lululemon. An EPA-certified lab tested the crotch area of the pants, and any clothes containing more than 10 parts per million of fluorine were flagged. The 8 pairs that had PFAs indicators were Athleta girls chit-chat shorts, Gaim high-rise waist yoga pants, performance compression workout leggings, NYX high-touch high-rise leggings, Lululemon Alize high-rise pants, and LuLaRoe leggings. Old Navy athletic pants. Wow. Exposure to PFAs or forever chemicals can reduce women's fertility by 40%, study finds. Researchers find that 40% reduced chance to become pregnant in a study looking at PFAs in blood and fertility. How about that? That is fucking crazy. The EU has already authorized food made from crickets, locusts, and darkling beetle larvae. In January, mealworm larvae were added to the list. Exceptions, Hungary and Italy as always. Say what? Modifying insects for warfare.
Half of my time in Bavaria, I was talking to my German colleague. He understood me a lot better than one of my colleagues from the American South. So that just should predispose you to what's going on here. I apologize for both of those things in advance. What I don't apologize for is the fact that we may be falling behind in our awareness of neuroscience and technology and its capability in the operation of military and warfare sphere. I think we're coming up to speed somewhat on that, but we are at least one click behind a number of other countries who have made substantive investment in direct use neuroscience and technology for military and national security agenda. We, the United States, and our Western allies very often see this in a dual-use framework. That's not to say that we don't have direct use involvement. However...
Yeah, well, using a mad scientist, and this is neurotechnology and insects for warfare. I mean, we already have seen stuff like this. For years, they've used like fake insects and shit like that as drones and microphones and spies, but now, using real deal insects as weapons. Could you imagine if they essentially, through CRISPR technology, gene editing, whatever, were able to modify insects to have some type of toxin? Right, where they could deliver it and bite you and it'd be lethal. There's many poisonous insects out there already, lethal, and that's pretty crazy, right? To see the million uses that they could use for these things. I think this is a slippery slope that we're going down, and you're going to see all through this video that that's kind of the direction we're going in. Meanwhile, another train with no passengers derails in San Bernardino, California. Hazmat crew responding. How many fucking trains have you seen derail lately with hazardous chemicals? Yeah. So, yes, they want to buy it to spy on you. 90% chance TikTok will be banned in the U.S. unless it goes through with an IPO or gets bought out by mega cap tech. How about this? Yeah, and see, this is the TikTok shit I was talking about at the beginning of the video too. 90% chance TikTok will get banned. This has nothing to do with TikTok, by the way. In the U.S., unless it goes through with an IPO or gets bought out by mega cap tech. Okay. It's a matter of when, not if, TikTok gets banned in the U.S. The chances of TikTok getting banned in the U.S. have soared to 90% after CEO Xiao Zhu gave evasive testimony to Congress last week, according to Wedbush analyst Dan Ives. I said in a note on Monday, it's a matter of when, not if, TikTok gets banned in the U.S. Such a ban would be unprecedented, but it highlights growing concerns that TikTok parent company ByteDance is beholden to the Chinese government and could ultimately enable some form of spying on TikTok's user base of more than 150 million Americans. The bipartisan legislation going through the Beltway now lays the path for a ban, and the final straw that will ultimately break the camel's back for TikTok is the CFIUS ruling around the corner with a formal Biden White House statement around a likely TikTok ban, the next step. Wow. For its part, TikTok has floated Project Texas, which is a $1.5 billion plan that will move all of TikTok's data to US-based servers operated by Oracle. but any U.S. ban on TikTok wouldn't mean its base of obsessive users immediately lose access to the platform. Instead, the ban could mean that TikTok will be granted a 3 to 6 month window to either go public via an IPO or sell itself to an American company. While the price tag will be eye-popping, TikTok's strategic value and consumer platform will have a number of financial and tech strategic players interested once the sale becomes a formal path, I've said. Wow. You know, and this is what I mean. Like, this is just more control. Every last bit of it. It's all about control, right? They want that data. They don't want China to have it, right? And they use China as a threat for everything now, you know. Here we go. One step closer to a cashless society and biometric surveillance. It's not just in airports. Now it arrives in your fast food. Panera Bread is testing Amazon's palm scanning technology at 2 restaurants in St. Louis for their customers to pay for their orders and connect to their loyalty program accounts.
Well, you can now pay for your Panera sandwich with the palm of your hand. You've heard that right. The restaurant chain partnering with Amazon to test its palm reading payment technology. Seeing it right there on your screen right now. It's only available in 2 St. Louis locations. We want to bring in Naren Chowdhury, Panera Bread's CEO. Naren, a lot to get in with you today. But first, let's start with this technology, because I think a lot of people, Brooke DePalma is also here playing in this interview as well. But Naren, how exactly does this work? Because it might scare a lot of people.
Yeah, it's thank you. It's great to be on the show. Well, we are very excited, but we are the first restaurant company to partner and launch Amazon One for loyalty identification or payment transactions just using a scan of your palm. We're excited because, you know, we have more than 50 million MyPanera members in our loyalty program. And this just provides another level.
What? Okay, hold on. They just banned the color red. What the fuck? Yeah. Hey, and by the way, guys, on April 19th, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, I will be doing I'll be doing a collab. I don't want to say it wrong. But they're something about their name is Seven, but their Instagram, I don't want to say it wrong, but they got like 30,000 followers over on Instagram. We're gonna be doing a show. We're gonna be talking about archons and all kinds of stuff. So, you know, check that out on the 19th of this month, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. I will be having a guest, so it's gonna be awesome. Okay. Wow, crazy to see. No one talking. Everyone is dressed somewhat normal. A man interviews people on the street in 1970s New York. The rapid decline in humanity in the last 50 years.
Hello, my subscribers, and hello others who are watching this. It's David Hoffman, filmmaker, with another clip from 1979. Now, this is a clip that 1.5 million of you have already seen a version of. Wall Street, people just answering one-word questions. I've changed it, I've added to it, and I want to tell you a bit about it. So Wall Street at that time, first of all, let's think about what I'm doing. I'm doing the information age, the coming of the information age. Of course you go to Wall Street. Wall Street's where it's happening. Wall Street where computers are beginning to trade in 1979, where people are savvy, you'd think. Some of them are and some of them aren't. But the camera on the street is still new. Although I did my first Man on the Street in 1964, you can see that film on my YouTube channel. Man on the Street was still thrillingly new in 1979. People were not worried about copyright protection, information age. What do they think of computers?
Fixed income salesman.
What do you feel about your job?
It's good. There's a lot of opportunity there.
Who do you think has the power in society?
I think the working class does.
Wow.
There's a lot that they can do. They can organize themselves.
So who do you think has the power in society? He said the working class. Very different time, 1979.
Way of organization. way of determining things, the way that the American people are. You mean like IBM? I think they have a lot of power.
Who
Yeah.
has a lot of power?
IBM.
What do you think about your job?
Sometimes I like it, sometimes it's exciting, sometimes it's frustrating.
Why is it frustrating?
Why is it frustrating? Because I can't do what I want to do. Because
Who does?
I don't know if anybody does.
Slate.
Bureaucracy. Well, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm a little shaky. Your job. My job? It's a living. Privacy. Privacy? Loneliness. Ollie! Very good. Very good. First thing that comes to your head. Remember, you're
Wow.
going to repeat exactly what I asked.
Very different time, guys. Very different time. I think that's pretty interesting. We'll move forward here. Are you ready for the zombie apocalypse? Live from New York City, monster screams. Because I'm black and I like violence, I'm an animal. I'm a black animal.
Listen, why are you going in here and calling all the white people in here racist?
No, I'm calling them dumb Republicans.
No, you're calling them racist.
Yeah,
You're
because
calling
all
the white
white
men
people are racist. All white people are fucking racist.
Why are you trying to instigate violence right now?
Because I'm black and I like violence. Yeah. I'm an animal. I'm an animal. I'm a black animal. Ah! I'm a black animal. Let's kill all white people. Yeah, baby.
Biden 2024?
Biden 2024?
Biden is
Biden 2024. Biden 2024, baby. Biden 2024, bitch.
Hey, you ever seen performance art? Obviously not, because
You're my manager. My fucking manager. My fucking manager. Fuck the white people. I'm a motherfucking animal, bitch.
Wow. Jesus Christ. You know, it's like, that's what I mean. That's the shit right there. Wow. It just gets even better. Clown world. I thought that was a clown. Can you please translate? What the fuck? Wow. Complete overload of the new hotline for damages from COVID blank on the first day in Bavaria, Germany. How about that? New hotline for people that have been damaged from the little pokey poke, right? And it's completely overloaded the first day. The new hotline for corona blank damage in Bavaria was apparently completely overloaded at the start. The Bavarian State Office for Health and Food Safety was only able to process a third of the calls on Monday, as a spokeswoman for the Bavarian Ministry of Health told Augsburger Allgemeine. Okay. Florida grandmother charged in hot car death of granddaughter less than a year after grandson drowned while in her care. Jesus, what a shitty grandma. Yellen says Biden's Inflation Reduction Act is about turning the climate crisis into an economic opportunity. Well, that's great.
And as others have said, the Inflation Reduction Act is, at its core, about turning the climate crisis into an economic opportunity. Treasury is playing a central role in the Inflation Reduction Act's implementation effort. An estimated $270 billion of the law's investments is delivered via tax incentives. And we have been quite busy in our implementation, working vigorously to deploy the law quickly and effectively.
Wow. This is just crazy. They just tell you straight up, like, what they're doing. You know? How about it? Such bullshit. I feel like they do that shit on purpose, but whatever. Strong storm ahead. Tornado outbreaks will be different. We've had lots of this. Is this transgender pastor comparing the Nashville shooter to Jesus?
Their recording of Jesus' journey to the cross, the author makes a point of saying that the chief priests and the whole council were looking for false testimony against Jesus so that they might put him to death. Those leaders were looking for any excuse, valid or not, to crucify Jesus. And they found that reason. And that reason was solidified when the crowd shouted to release Barabbas. They had their final excuse. They would kill the one whose reputation as a teacher and healer and whose mission of love and dignity was so very threatening to their own reputation that they needed to kill him in order to preserve their good image. It's baffling to me that someone's existence can be so threatening that people decide they need to be controlled, that they need to have laws made against them, or even worse, that the people that they find to be so threatening should die. There are a significant number of people who have deemed that the fact that the Nashville shooter happened to be a trans person, so it's been reported, is just the excuse they need to call for the eradication of trans folks. Rather than focusing on the fact that we have a serious gun violence problem that continues to go unaddressed, rather than focusing on the fact that six more people are dead, rather than focusing on the fact that those staff and children should have been safe in that school, or focusing on the fact that children do not feel safe in their own schools, rather than focusing on any of this, they have decided they need to cause more harm. They're recording of...
Yeah, man, I don't know, guys. It's just wild. The shit that gets pushed on us is wild. Definitely not Tennessee. Well, yeah. Yes. That was 1979. New study, half of long COVID sufferers have never had C19. How about that? And this is great. The paper in the journal, the American Medical Association's Network Open look at post-COVID condition in young people after mild acute infection to find how common it was and to find risk factors for participants who were aged between 12 and 25. The authors of the straightforward conclusion, PCC was not associated with biological markers specific to viral infection. That is, participants were equally likely to suffer from long COVID, whether or not they had suffered from acute C19. The researchers concluded that long COVID is predicted by initial symptom and severity and, intriguingly, psychosocial factors. Wow, psychosocial factors. They concluded that long COVID is predicted by initial symptom severity and psychosocial factors. So, what do you think the psychosocial factors are for the long COVID? Right? Is it kind of like psychosis? Because they think that they're going to have it, or they think they have it, or they're, afraid that they're going to catch it. Yeah, I'm so over the COVID crap too. It ain't just you, it's me too. But I mean, and I can't really speak on this because they'll just give the video strikes and all that shit, and I'm not a doctor anyways, but there are still people to this day, guys, and it's like, It's mind-blowing to me, but there are still people to this day that fucking believe that this is legit. You know, they believe it's legit. They believe they'll probably continue to boost and boost and boost until, and I just seen, I had, where's the article at? There is, right here. Look at this. New research uncovers potential explanation for the blood clot connection. I'm going to drop this in the chat for people. They're going to continue to boost and boost and boost, even though more and more of this is coming out, guys, right? The connections to the blood clots and all of this. This is coming out now. It's finally all starting to surface. And the more they see of this, right, I think it makes people more angry. The people that, and we just seen that pastor, right, talking about how people should never be hated and silenced and even killed for their beliefs on something or who they are. Well, nobody was saying that for anti-vaxxers, were they? They were saying that we deserve to die, right? You remember that? Remember on social media they were saying we all deserve to die and they hope we caught it, and you know what I mean? It was just the craziest shit you'd ever see. You know, and we're glorifying school shooters now because of what group they belong to. You know, and you see that was used for the politicization for gun control. You know, absolutely insane, absolutely insane. But there are people right now, I'm just keeping it real with you, there are people still to this day that that believe, you know, that despite all the terrible side effects, despite all the adverse reactions, despite all the deaths, despite all the information that's coming out, despite the lack of information that's ever coming out proving that there was any effectiveness to any of this, or proving that there was any reason for any of this, still firm believers that this shit's legit and that we're bad people because we didn't go along with it. You know, yeah, clown world, exactly. It's exactly what it is. I complain at the grocery store. It's brainwash on the intercom constantly. It is. That's what it is. You know, shit you not, you know. It's brainwashing at its finest. And it's like, what's sad is they play, I feel like it's very egoic people that fall for this shit too. You notice they target people's egos. You know, it's like, they target your ego. They're like, oh, you're a bad person. It's like these people think of themselves so highly already, right? Most of the people in society, you know, they already think so much of themselves, you know. So it's like, oh, well, I'm not a bad person. I'm not a disease spreader. You know, it's like, so you know, they attack that ego, and it's like, you know, try to hit them in the, you know, the guilt and shit, and it's like they fold. Like, I don't want to look, and then you tell them they can't go out and to the bars and restaurants and shit. It's like they'll sell their soul for that, you know. It's sad. It's sad. It's like the kind of people that we churned out here in America. You know, what we call diversity now is a joke. It's a joke. There's no real true diversity anymore. You know? It's got nothing to do with like people parading around and, you know, saying, oh, I'm trans and this and that. It's like everyone being accepted. But it's not that way. Right? True diversity is everyone being accepted, everyone being embraced. You know? Not the targeting against fucking white people or white males or Trump supporters or Christians or pro-lifers or pro-guns. And it's like everyone. Everyone. That's inclusion. Real, true, genuine inclusion is everyone being accepted. Everyone's opinion mattering. everyone being allowed to be a part of the conversation, not just the people that agree with you, right? Everyone being worthy of life, everyone being worthy of love, not just the colors or races that, you know, are politically motivated at the moment, you know, has a political agenda behind it, and people think that there's a genuine bone in these politicians' bodies. You think they care about black people or brown people or any people? They're doing it for votes. It's hollow. It's fake. It's hollow and fake, and most people in our society are just as hollow and just as fake. The more virtue signaling a person does, usually the shittier the person is, just to be real with you. The more virtue signaling a person does, usually the shittier the person actually is. The more judgmental they really are. The more hypocritical they really are. You know. We live in a society full of fucking bullies, right? Cowards. And it's sad. Job is to find your way back to heaven. Well, there's people that live inside the box. They believe the skin is reality. You look out and, okay, you know, I agree. There are many people that live outside of the box and that have very open minds, that are beautiful souls and truly express themselves. And you know what? There's a lot of us that are afraid to express who we are around the people in our life because we know we won't be accepted. You know? That's one of the things I hate about living in the city, actually, is like never really being able to express your opinions or beliefs. Because you know that if you don't rattle off the same brain-dead, zombified shit that everybody else rattles off, that people look at you funny or think you're a bad person or think you're, you know, think you're something you're not. You know? I get tired of people like looking down on others simply for what they choose to believe and what they choose not to. My medical information is none of your fucking business, nor is yours any of mine. So my status on a jab has nothing to do with anybody. It shouldn't have nothing to do with anyone anywhere. They should know that. Let alone force me to prove it when I walk into a place, or force me to do it to keep a job or whatever, you know? Or I have to walk around being guilted and shamed by everybody for not, you know what I mean? And then after the fact, and all that's transpired since, and now it's proven to all be nonsense and proven to be so harmful and all of this, right? It's swept under the rug and continued to be silenced. We're still silenced to this day. They attack the channel and, you know, they shadow ban anybody that's speaking anything against any of this shit. We are being socially engineered on a level that is fucking unprecedented. We have to choose to be a leader, not a follower. Absolutely. You know? And we need to, you know, we gotta find people that are like us, right? And connect with people that are like us, you know? People that do have empathy for another fucking human being. You know, there's nothing more sad than a person that can hurt and harm other people and feel nothing from it. It doesn't bother them. I don't know how some people sleep at night, honestly. I don't know how people sleep at night. The damage they do to other humans And what's sad is most people, they're you know, it's like they treat their pets better than they do their spouse. They treat their pets better than they do their children. They treat their pets better than they do human beings. How do you justify that in your mind? How do we justify, you know, going every day in our whole existence only being about ourselves? How do we lay our head on the pillow and go to sleep like that? And convince ourselves that there's nothing wrong with it, or convince ourselves that we're a good person. Convince ourselves that, you know, that's the way that, you know, we're supposed to live life. And, you know, it's like, how fucking brain dead and shitty have we gotten? Oh, I'm going to stand up for all the minorities, and I'm going to, you know, take care of all the pets, but I'm going to actually not care about a real human being. I'll drive past a homeless person if I see them. That's how much they really love minorities, right? I see it all the time. People have bumper stickers all over their car about how much they care about this group or that group, but they drive right past a fucking homeless person and won't even throw $1 at them. People talk about how much they love animals and stuff like that, and then treat human beings like dog shit. People talk about how people's rights should be protected to be who they want to be, and then call for you to be silenced and censored because you disagree with them. People want the freedom to express who they are, but want you to shut your mouth if you're not like they are. This fake woke culture acting like their wokeness is real when they're following the goddamn herd and being programmed to be who they are. They don't know their ass from a hole in the ground, and they want to tell us how to live and shame us for not being like them too. Damn, that's so true. It is true. It's true as fuck. I do understand how they operate, and I agree. You have to understand how they operate. They capture you at birth. That's right. They indoctrinate your fucking parents, your grandparents. So you're grandfathered into the stupidity. You have to break the cycle, though. It's like, I don't give a fuck what my mom believes, you know, or my dad believes, or whatever. My dad's dead, but if he was, I don't care what, you know, my grandfather believed. I take their wisdom and I respect them, but I don't have to be, you know, believe like they believe. I understand that they were manipulated just the same. The government lied to them too. The commercials lied to them too. The television raised them too. Now we live in the internet age, so it's raising us. And the sad thing is, most adults aren't raised. Their idea of what life is not an actual life at all. When we start basing our value on how much money we make, our looks, what we own, our political party, how much we virtue signal, and we've lost sight of it all. We lost sight of ourselves. You know, I want a life that makes me fulfilled. I want to speak things not because I think everybody wants to hear it, but because I truly fucking believe it. You know? Because I've studied it. I researched it myself. Nobody told me that this is the way it was, and I just blindly accepted. I don't want that. I don't want that for my children. I don't want that for anyone else. Blind acceptance is stupidity. Nobody can talk me into being or doing anything I don't want to do. You know? And I've been rejected by millions for being who I am. And I'll be honest, it gets very lonely, right? You guys know it. Like, being true to yourself is hard fucking work. It gets lonely. But I promise you, that you will meet people in life that do see you for who you truly are. That see you for you and appreciate the beauty that is you. You're not going to find that from some broke down person, though, who is emotionally, mentally, consciously, spiritually immature, right? And unevolved, and unaware, and just asleep. It ain't their fault. That's why Christ said, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. It's like they don't know no better. They honestly don't. They have no fucking clue. They live off of impulse. Their only mission in life is to satisfy themselves. That's it. They have no true ambition in life. No true ambition. We're so much better than we're being programmed to be. And I see amazing potential in people all the time. I see the beauty in people all the time. I'm telling you. And people have done some amazing things, amazing things. People have done amazing things for me. I've literally had people, donate thousands of dollars to help me out in life in the past. What kind of, that takes a crazy good person, right? Can you say you're that good? Or that selfless, or that kind, or that generous? I can't. I want to be. I've had people that have, they provided a shoulder to cry on, during hard times when I had nobody. No actual friends or family. Nobody that actually gave a shit that was physically in my life. Could you say you're that kind of person? Are you loving enough to love another person? Truly. Truly, though. That's why it's rare. That's why it's rare. That's why they're called the elect. A remnant. There's not many. There's only a few. Chosen few. Right? There's not many. People don't know how blessed they are to meet one of those kind of people in their life. You're lucky if you meet one person like that in your entire life. You really truly are. Let alone, meet more than one, multiple people like that in your life. So I consider myself extremely blessed because I have met, multiple people. I have. I've met some very generous, some very loving, some very kind people. And I can tell you, man, it's rare. I can tell you, for someone to be selfless, non-judgmental, to be there for you, to be there for a person, to care when it's not easy, to love even when it's hard. Love takes work, guys. It's hard work sometimes to love. To not project our stuff onto others, right? And to see where we're at fault, to admit where we're wrong, to apologize when we make mistakes and when we hurt others, to make amends, to heal the wounds that we create. That's all I want to do is just fix my fuck ups at the end of the day. I want to heal what I've harmed. I want to heal what I've harmed. I want to do good. I want to love. I want to be loved. And I think ultimately at the end of the day we all do. But some people don't know how to love themselves. And they can't love anybody else. They won't love anybody else. Because their version of loving themselves is really the opposite of love. Right? It's skin deep. It's superficial. It's what the world has told them love is, not what love truly is. Being a bigger person in life is not always easy. And I'm not always the bigger person in situations. But I would like to be. And that's what I'm striving for. I'm striving for to be a little better each day. To have a little more love in my heart each day. To just try and be positive each day. You know? To be grateful. I promise you the number one way for manifestation, the number one tool is gratitude. It's gratitude. It's being grateful for what you already have. For what you do have. What you do got going for you. Once you show God, the universe, that you appreciate what you do have, you can have more. Right? You're responsible with the money you have now. You're responsible with the people in your life you have now. You can have more. But, you know, our society is, there's always an upgrade. There's always something new. Nothing's ever good enough, right? You get a phone, as soon as you leave the cell phone store, it's outdated, right? There's a new version, a new upgrade. You date someone, right? You date someone, it's like fast fucking food. Swipe right. As soon as you get in a disagreement, bam! You're moving on to the next. Cut ties. 9 times out of 10, you just picked one another off of your pictures and, you know what I mean, anyways, and your looks anyways, and it wasn't based on your heart at all. I love the dating world because people always are selling themselves, right? Like a fucking fast food product as well. I'm this, and this, and I make this much money, and here's my smile, and here's a picture that don't really look like me, and, you know. It's false advertisement. And it's like, and when it all falls away and it's like time to be real, you see who's real and who's not by who's still around, guys. Like I said, if you're truly trying to grow, watch the people who want nothing to do with growth in your life run the other fucking direction. They'll run the other direction. When the mask falls off and your true self shows, right? And their true self shows, most people are so afraid of what they see or what you see that they'll do anything to blind you, distract you. But it's not for you, it's for them. It's trying to blind themselves, distract themselves from themselves. Like I told you, the full moon in Libra is all about projection and illumination, right? Right now we have the ability to project our insecurities on others like no other time. So be careful of that. Don't go down that street. I promise you, you don't want that in your life because it's about judgment and karma too. It's time to pay what you weigh. You will get back what you put out in this world, and I guarantee you that. You know? if you're putting out ugly, you're putting out hatred, you're putting out darkness, you're putting out anger, you're putting out sadness, you're putting out all this negative emotion, this negative energy, you're telling God, you're telling the Father, you're telling the universe that that's what you want in your life, and that's what you're creating, that's what you're attracting, that's what you'll have. And remember, whatever you do to someone else, you're actually doing to yourself. So not only are you harming them, but you're harming you. You know? And it creates an imbalance. At the end of the day, we have every day is a new opportunity. Every moment is a new opportunity to be fucking great. Like, I know every one of you, you've had someone in your life somewhere who told you, that you were special, or told you you were beautiful, or told you, that you could be something, or that deep down inside yourself, right? That there's more to this life than what you've had, or what you've seen, or what you've known. Don't you want the deeper connection? Don't you want, don't you want what's special? Try to see that it's not what you're being told by everyone else. What's special and what's rare is what's real. It's what's real. And the only thing real in this entire illusion is love. It's love. It's the only thing worth anything at the end of the day. The strongest emotion, the strongest power that we have in this whole universe is love. It makes mothers lift buses off of their children. People take bullets for their war buddies. Right? Gives men the courage to kneel down and propose in front of a baseball stadium full of people. Love is fucking powerful. It's powerful. And if you exude love, if you become love in all that you do, your life becomes full of it. Don't let other people take your peace. Don't let other people tell you what your truth is. Be better than the rest of the world. Be better than your friends. Be better than your family. Be better than, not by thinking you're better, but by holding yourself to a higher standard. By showing true character. Remember, character is like when nobody's looking. Character is when no one's around. Character is how you treat the people you love. It's how you treat yourself. It's how, You can't make friends with fake people. You can't. You can't. That's the truth. Even those that don't love now will find love too. I agree with that. I agree with that. This is about a realignment. Energetically, we are realigning our lives to create balance and harmony. Right? Sometimes endings have to happen for things to begin. It's sad. Nobody likes to see things end. But don't be afraid of growth. Don't be afraid of change. And you know what? Fight for what's worth fighting for. I have a few PowerPoints here. Fight for what's worth fighting for. Find your creative potential. Don't lose your spark. Look for the beauty. And we do that by finding our own strength and our own individuality. Detach from the past, detach from fear, detach from insecurity, and have courage and pursue passion in all that you do. We got Mercury getting ready to go retrograde. When it stations direct, Jupiter... Mercury going retrograde into Taurus. Mercury moving into Taurus, going retrograde into Taurus. Then when it stations direct, Jupiter's coming into Taurus. This is going to be beautiful for financial luck, prosperity. We're not going to see Jupiter when it's hidden. It's all about money and luck. So hey, you know, there's a lot of good energy to be had over the next month or so. I promise you. New relationships, new love, new interests beginning, careers blossoming. Like, yeah, there can be some major cool things happening for people. So don't let the challenge of the full moon in Libra and, you know, Mars in Cancer and all of that, you know, hold you up or, you know, distract you from what's really taking place, which is growth, right? We're evolving. You know, and for those of you that are, you know, the full moon in Libra is all about relationships. For those of you guys that are going through breakups or divorces or, you know, whatever, you know, hard times, I'm just saying, don't give up. You know, don't give up. Take space if you need to, but honor your character. You know, be the good character that you are. You know, and fight for what's worth fighting for. You know, don't let, if you love someone, you know, tell them, show them. You know, don't wait till they're gone to start caring. Don't wait till, you know, we do this so much, we don't appreciate people, and then once they're dead or whatever, right? Like, or they're out of our lives, then we want to reminisce, and it's like, don't wait for all that. Make the most of each moment. You never know when it could be your last. So, I love all of you guys. Thank you so much for joining me. Please hit the like, give us a thumbs up, share it, help me to get it out there. If you can, consider donating and supporting. Like I said, I am trying to raise like $3,000. I got to move in a hurry, so you know, all donations and all that. You want to join us on Patreon, book a personal tarot reading, email me therealbestdampodcast@gmail.com. So yeah, I'm trying to save up, get a little cheap car, and get into this apartment. So yeah, that's why I haven't been able to do many videos. I've just been trying to work and all that. So you know, I'll pray for you guys and keep you in my thoughts and prayers. And I just want you all to know I love you and I appreciate you so much. And, you know, I love doing this. And I love the spiritual family. And I'm grateful for life. I'm grateful for all the people I have in my life and all the love I have in my life and all of you. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. Remember, Jesus is the truth, way, and life. God bless you all, and I'll see you next time. Peace.